Hey guys, I'm your Jess. Welcome to my channel Everything with English. In this video, we are to know about the language barriers for communication and their types. Let's get started. A language barrier is a term that is used to describe the inability of passing information between two or more people due to linguistic differences. Language barriers are difficulties in communication that occurs within a group of people or between individuals with different language background or dialects. In the presence of language barriers, it would mean that there will be less or no communication. The process of communication has multiple barriers. The barriers to effective communication could be of many types like linguistical, psychological, emotional, physical, cultural, traveling, and classrooms. The first of it is traveling language barrier. When traveling to another country or another location where the native language is difficult or different from one we speak, you may tend to have difficulties in communicating with the people in that place. Variation in language are the most common barrier to communication since two people speaking different language cannot understand each other. Second is language barrier in classrooms. The language barrier in classrooms may occur in the classrooms when there are students from various locations with different native languages. Different accent with the teachers or facilitators may also create a communication barriers when talking to the students. When teachers fail to create engaging lessons with the students, it may make it hard for the students to interact with them. The language barrier in the classroom may affect the students' performance negatively since the students are not getting the same opportunity as those who understand the native language. Thirdly, linguistic barriers. The language barrier is one of the main barriers that limit effective communication. The language is the most commonly employed tool of communication. The fact that each major region has its own language is one of the barriers to effective communication. Sometimes even a thick, difficult dialect may render the communication ineffective. Psychological barriers. There are various mental and psychological issues that may be barriers to effective communication. Sometimes people have stage fear, speech disorder, phobia, depression, etc. All of these conditions are very difficult to manage. Sometimes and most certainly limit the case of communication. Emotional barriers. The emotional IQ of a person determines the ease and comfort with which they can communicate. A person who is emotionally mature will be able to communicate effectively. On the other hand, people who let their emotion take over will face certain difficulties. A perfect mixture of emotions and fact is necessary for effective communication. Emotions like anger, frustration, humor can blur the decision-making capabilities of a person and thus limit the effectiveness of their communication. Attitude barriers. Certain people like to be left alone. They are the introverts or just people who are not very social. Others like to be social or sometimes extra cling. Both these cases could become a barrier to communication. Sometimes people have attitude issues like huge ego and inconsiderate behavior suffers a lot. Finally, physical barriers to communication. They are the most obvious barriers to effective communication. These barriers are mostly easily removable in principle at least. They include barriers like noises, closing doors, and even closed cabins. Sometimes in a large office, the physical separation between various employees combined with faulty equipment may result in severe barriers to effective communication.